The ultimate tournament of everything.
Welcome to the Ultimate Tournament of Everything, a bracket-style show where we compare everything that ever possibly could be against everything that possibly ever was.
That's right, and we do so by taking this near infinite stack of bowls behind us here, and we take each one of everything of existence, putting them into one half of those bowls. Into the other half of those bowls, we put a nice egg wash. We dip in the egg wash, then we batter with whatever the item is, repeat that process twice so we get double thickness, throw it in the fryer, and wait till it floats. Which one will give us the ideal crispy crunchiness with the assorted number of flavors? Well, that will be the one. Moving on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
Now, if you're new here, and it's been a while, so probably you are, that is not what we do. While it sounds delicious, I think, what we actually will be doing is using a random Wikipedia link generator to look at 2 random Wikipedia pages, 2 at a time, over 9 rounds to figure out which of those 9 out of the 18 things becomes the 9 things for today, or this week, or this month. Like I said, it's been a minute, but those things, those 9 things, those will actually be the winners of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
Well, we're all winners here except for the losers. So let's get in and find out who that will be in round 1.
Round one.
In round 1, we have alpine skiing at the 2015 Winter Universiade Women's Giant Slalom against Juan Cristomo Bonilla.
Ah, yes, absolutely. 2 fascinating and invigorating individual competitors here in this very first round. Looking forward to digging in there. A lot of gold to be found. A few of them were in the form of medals. Let's learn just a little bit more.
Well, alpine skiing, it's been a while since I've seen skiing written out in that. It's got 2 eyes, I guess, because otherwise it'd just be sking, which, close enough. So
It would also be a cyclops.
That is true. That is true. The women's giant slalom competition at the 2015 Winter Universiade, which was the multi-sport winter event held in Grenada, Spain, and Stripski Plosa Slovakia. There we go. I think the other one is a Marvel thing. The other one's an actual country. With the gold medal going to Kristin Fausa Asberg of Norway.
Yeah, absolutely. She knew her way right down those giant slaloms. Coming in second was the Polish racer Sabina Mahersik, and taking the bronze was Carmina Palas from Andorra, which is not necessarily a well-known country for anything, including skiing.
Does that mean you don't know where Andorra is? Is that just,
I'm
that
not going to
just
lie. I
admitted?
don't know if I've ever heard of Andorra, but I adore it just by the name.
There we go. There we go. So slalom, that's the downhill one with all the turns, right? That's slalom.
Yeah, so slalom is the one where you got to bend your knees, you got a pizza and french fry as quick as you possibly can, going from left to right, hither and yon, all the way down the hill to victory, as only one of these individuals was able to do. If we scroll all the way down to the bottom of the list, we had in 75th place the Turkish racer Alara Aydits, who did not finish, but I believe that their name still deserves to be recorded in the annals of time.
I would like to point out that really places like 35 through 75 are a tie because all of them did not finish. So it's not like one of them did not finish better than the other, unless, I guess, I don't even know how they decide that. They just all didn't finish. I don't know why they're placed. It's a tie to the bottom. Really, we only care about the people on the podium. One in particular, just like our competitor on the other side, the one, Juan Crisostomo Bonilla.
And Chrysostomo is a lovely middle name, but this guy, he was right at the head of the pack. This was an individual born in 1835, a Mexican general born in Titea de Acampo, Puebla, and he died in Veracruz. We don't know a lot of other information about him, but there is a very large statue featuring his likeness, his name, and the dates of his duration here on this planet. I gotta say though, if this is a likeness of him, he dressed very monochromatically.
Yeah, I don't think it's a color accurate representation of his attire, given that he is cast in bronze here. So if you know anything about Mexican generals, and I don't, but maybe you might, this was one of them. That is about all I can add to Juan Crisostomo Bonilla Perez. He's got a fourth name if you read the article.
You just can't get enough names. He was the guy so nice that they named him 4 different times.
Quattro Nemo.
Yes, well, it was a Yama, right?
Yeah,
Something
yes,
like that.
there we go.
Sorry to all of our previous educators, but yeah, so not a lot to tell you. He was a general. That's generally, good and bad. But if we go back over, I'd like to address something about the alpine skiing at the 2015 Winter Universiade Women's Giant Slalom. And the crux of what I'd like to evaluate right now here is the giant slalom. Now, we as humans are not normally giants, and so we have agility. It's kind of like the Spanish Armada. We're able to turn a lot quicker. However, giants would not be able to turn that quickly if we're talking about the fee-fi-fo thumb. So it's just less impressive is my point. There's too much space.
Hang on. I was with you for the first half of that. Are you assuming that these are giant people?
We have had a 600-foot volleyball player on this podcast before. I'm not putting it past anything.
Okay. Well, given the fact that these are giants, I thought they were average-sized human beings. But given that they're giants, I think I need to pick them to win this round.
Women's giant slalom, you have twisted and turned your way to victory here in the first round of
the ultimate tournament of everything.
They're gigantic. They win.
They're enormous, but not even as large in stature rather, as they are in skill and talent. And that's why they're moving on to the next round, as must we, to round dos.
It's time for round 2.
In round
Got
dos,
that one right.
There we go. We have John S. Barber Jr. That's a nice picture. Against Evening Party in the Studio in Strandvejen.
Yes, we have 2 absolutely picturesque competitors here in this round. We've got John S. Barber, who was a cut above, and we also have the Evening Party in the Studio, which appears to be a painting that took place in a parlor, which is not exactly the same as a barber shop, but perhaps those names have been applied in the past. Let's see if there's any overlap here as we proceed to round 2.
Gosh, I hope not. Save your praise for John S. Barber Jr. till we get to the first sentence of the article. John Strode Barber Jr., born December 29th, 1820, passed away May 14th, 1892, was a slave owner, U.S. representative and senator from Virginia, fought against the U.S. and the Confederate Army. That's just the first sentence. So if there's anything praiseworthy there, it's probably just his name. Sorry, the South. He took power in Virginia from the short-lived Readjuster Party in the late 1880s, forming the first political machine of conservative Democrats whose power was to last 80 years until the demise of the Byrd Organization in, you guessed it, the 1960s.
And I remember learning about all of those things in middle school, elementary history classes, but naturally, I have not retained any of that information, and that's really what Wikipedia is here for. So to remind ourselves, let's talk about the early life of this Mr. John S. Barber Jr. Born in December of 1820 at Catalpa near Culpeper, Virginia, son of a Virginia delegate and future U.S. Representative John S. Barber. Doesn't look like there's a senior there. Does the senior get applied? Can you just be born a senior, or is that a post having a child thing?
Yeah, I guess technically when you're born, you could be born a senior, but you wouldn't know about it till there is a junior.
Okay, so
that time is probably fixed, but
it's an implicit name that doesn't come into actual realization until you've procreated.
Yeah, probably.
Gosh, us humans are interesting. So was this one, who had 2 sisters and a younger brother. He attended common schools, graduated from a law department at the University of Virginia at Charlottesville. A lot of things that this guy probably would have agreed with took place in Charlottesville later in life.
So time is fluid. We operate not on a linear timeline, but more on a wheel. He married Susan Dangerfield, daughter of prominent family in Prince George's County, Maryland. Great-great-great-grandmother of Rodney. I'm making that part up. That is not in the article. But anyway, I'm sure she didn't get any respect either. Just like the competitor, Evening Party in the Studio on Strandvejen, which is Danish, apparently, is a 1905 oil-on-canvas group portrait painting by Lutris Tuxen depicting a social gathering in the artist's home in Copenhagen. In 2019, it was acquired by the Skagen Museum.
The artist began working on this painting in April of 1904, and it was completed for the Charlottenburg Spring Exhibition the following year. The painting was shortly thereafter sold to a private buyer, where it remained in the hands of the same family for more than 100 years, until in 2019 it was acquired by the Skagen Museum with economic support from the Augustinus Foundation and the N.Y. Carlsberg Foundation.
Now, the painting shows a social gathering in a studio, and the people seen in the painting are named and listed, which is impressive. Anne Besson, Yvonne Tuxen, Mary Henniskin, Wilhelm Bison, Helga Weiss, Valdemir Erminger, Anna Anker, Nicole Tuxen, I think he's probably related to that one, Michael Thurkildsten. You want to take the rest of these?
Well, we don't have to. This was like the original Facebook tagging of people in a photo. You know, the fact that we still know this was painted in 1904 to 1905, and we know exactly who all these people were. They probably, in fact, some of these names are even hyperlinked. They do indeed have, or if they don't, we're probably worthy of, their very own Wikipedia articles, which means one thing, Rob.
They might be competitors later, so let's not talk about them now. I don't want to spoil a future round.
Absolutely correct. So I think we should tread lightly and stop there, but not before we take a moment to appreciate this really lovely painting. What we have here is it's an image of a whole bunch of people, which are, of course, known and listed. It's an oil painting. We have very striking yellows upon the dress of the lady in the middle, shadows spreading out to either side as a room full of faces are, onlookers. There's a band in the back, and the room that they're in is wonderfully adorned with looks like other large and fancy oil paintings of probably other people that these people knew the name of, but are not included in this article.
You think they were sitting there in the living room during the party and they're like, look at that painting. I'll be a painting one day.
I'll tell you what.
You too might be a painting one day.
Maybe. And if we're talking about, like the future and things like that, the most interesting feature of this painting as I'm looking at it, of course, the initial one that strikes you is the lady with the yellow dress in the front, but just to her left, and I believe holding her hand, is a little girl in a red dress, not unlike in the movie Schindler's List. I'm not sure if she was red. She was red, right? With the red coat?
I think so. But this girl's definitely like, Mommy, I want to go home. Can we leave this party?
She's breaking the fourth wall, looking right out of the photo. She's like Fred Armisen breaking in a very static SNL skit.
Wonderful. What a throwback to Fred Armisen. Well, I think it's really no competition here. We have a traitor from the Confederate Army against this painting, and I have to go painting.
I have to go painting too. This oil painting I'll choose to move on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
If you're listening and you're offended when I call Confederate people traitors, I would like to talk history with you. You can leave a comment. We'll talk.
Yeah, Rob's really good at talking and reading, both of which we will be doing in the next round. Round 3.
It's time for round 3.
In round 3, we have Hero, a Mariah Carey song, against the 2002 European Athletic Championships, just the men's, oh, this is my favorite event, the men's 20-kilometer walk.
I see. I only see half of that, but I do see. Let's start with one of, I think, everybody's personal heroes, Mariah Carey and her song Hero. Now, there's accents over the E, So I'm not exactly sure if there's a different way to pronounce it, but I do see it referred to further in the article with the standard spelling of hero.
Yeah, it looks like this was the Spanish version of her song. This version was almost given to Gloria Estefan, but the version was performed by Carrie. The English version, released in 1993, was Carrie's 8th number one single. Wow, that's a lot.
All She Wants for Christmas is a 9th number one single. And she'll probably get it. She probably has by now, considering that this song was released in 1995 in the genre of pop from the label Columbia Records. Big time one. There was also a Mexican, Argentinian, and Spanish bonus track for Music Box, which has the Spanish track, which was made by Jorge Luis Piloto.
Now, the critical reception, because it wasn't critically received all that well, it was well received, but critics thought that her pronunciation was not entirely right, but okay, accepting the song as a hit. It feels like a critic like, oh, I don't like her music, you know, it doesn't pronounce everything the right way, but other people like it. It's like sometimes critics just find things to complain about, like probably my impression of a critic.
And this might say something about my personal tastes and style, but I find that the movies that the critics like, I don't like, and vice versa. So it's kind of one of those things where, like, if your gut's telling you to do one thing, you should probably do the other thing. That is something that I think is applicable to this and also applicable to someone who might want to seek therapy. So as we continue on, we find that this is the first song in Spanish by Mariah Carey. I did not know that she was bilingual.
Well, I guess I didn't either. Did she do a bunch of other songs?
Well, it refers to it as the first. So considering Mariah Carey's great, but capacity for potential, I doubt that it was her last.
Well, hang on. She did All I Want for Christmas Is You in 1994 and did this in 1995. Why are you still making music, Mariah Carey? Just stop. You're good. They will play that song forever in every Kohl's in America from November 28th to December 29th. And you can just make money off that. You can stop making music. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's maybe where she's gotten to now, but from there to where she is now was a long walk. And speaking of walks, let's talk about our other competitor, the 2002 European Athletics Championships men's 20 kilometers walk.
Yeah, all I can think of is that Malcolm in the Middle episode with the funny suits and the helmets. But okay, they walk, and the record was set by Spain's Paquillo Fernandez, clocking a total time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 37 seconds, 8 seconds faster than the winning time set by Russia's Mikhail Svechnikov in 1994. Wow. I mean, that's a fast walk. Why not just run? Why not just run?
I cannot believe that. No, they were separated by more than 8 seconds, weren't they?
I mean, it definitely looks that way, but this is maybe. Yeah,
I'm looking at the final here. We've got Paquillo Fernandez taking it's 20 kilometers with a time of 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 37 seconds. Coming in second was the Russian Vladimir Andreyev with 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 56 seconds. The reason I ask is after all of that distance for a walking race, and I'm sure this has happened before, to come down to 8 seconds, oh gosh, the brutal competitive nature of all of that being neck and neck for 20 kilometers walking.
Here's the thing I don't get about the walking thing, because like when you're sprinting, you see somebody ahead of you and you're like, oh, if only I could catch them, if only I could run a little faster. You're walking, you could go faster.
But that is against the rules, and that will earn you a DQ, as did several of these individuals, including the Andrew Drake from Great Britain, all the way down to Jintara's awesome last name from a country that exists.
we don't know how to pronounce the name. We don't know what the flag says.
Is that Lithuania?
I don't know. I would love DQ though. Now that we're talking about it. Anyway, this is
hot eats, cool treats, fast walkers, smooth talkers.
Okay, I listen. I can't give it to the walking because if they, I just can't. I have to give it to this Mariah Carey song in Spanish.
What I like most about this Mariah Carey song is that it's not All I Want for Christmas Is You. But I still appreciate Mariah Carey, and so I am in concurrence here. Mariah Carey's Hero, you're our hero, and you'll be moving on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
I just can't. I can't get behind speed walking. I'm sure it's mentally tough more than it is physically. I guess I don't know. Yes, you can walk faster than me, but I could also run. Anyway, sorry. We should move on. We should move on. Round 4.
My round 4 is ready.
In round 4, we have Valeria Karavayeva against Henry Louis Smith.
Okay, two very accomplished individuals. One that was great with their hands, and one that was looks like pretty hands-on. So let's see which one of those approaches is going to be most successful to build a victory here in the Ultimate Tournament of Everything.
Valeria Karavayeva, born August 3rd, 1999, is a Kazakhstani handball player who plays for the club Almaty Handball. She's a member of the Kazakhstani national team and even competed at the 2015 World Women's Handball Championship in Denmark.
This individual was born on the 3rd of August in 1993. They're about 5'5" and they play left wing. Now, I don't really exactly know how the sport of handball works. Like, handball to me seems like more of a general concept, but I know that it's been structured. There are rules and things like that. This person obviously is an expert as far as that goes, but I didn't know there would be like multiple positions.
Yeah, I think it's like soccer, only you use your hands, and then there's a line you cannot cross when you go to throw into a goal, like a net with a goalie, I think.
So it's not the one with the walls. It's just the one with the balls.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't actually know enough about handball, and if you are a handball aficionado, I don't know as much as you do, but I'm just learning about it this moment in this article. You guys remember Stumble Upon, where you just click something, like, oh, that's interesting, and then you move on? That's all this is for me. I've seen this. This is interesting. Now I'm moving on to Henry Louis Smith, the 9th president of Davidson College and the first president to not be ordained as a Presbyterian minister.
Now, this individual was originally from Greensboro, North Carolina. Throw your hands up. Graduated from Davidson in 1881, but returned as a professor of physics before becoming president in 1901. It was during this time as professor that Smith and a group of students created one of the very first X-ray images in America. We'd gone all the way up from A to the letter before X, and finally, we made it.
Yeah, they just named all the rays, and we just haven't heard about them. Everyone knows about alpha rays and beta rays, but you know about C rays, D rays? No, nobody talks about them. They made it all the way to X. That's exactly how that works, Mike. During his administration, he led construction on many infrastructure projects, including the establishment of the first electric light plant in town and the construction of several dormitories and academic buildings. Not nearly as exciting, I think, as the electric light plant.
That's right, because it's very hard to grow electric lights. You have to get the soil just right, and if you water it, it can probably electrocute you. So it's tough to work with. But Smith left eventually Davidson in 1912 to become president of Washington and Lee University, and in 1929 would eventually retire in Greensboro, North Carolina. Throw your hands up.
I mean, they shouldn't. They don't. I mean, okay, is that a song? Something about Greensboro? I don't understand the reference. Anyway, he looks like a great guy. He was very intelligent, very smart, probably didn't grow light bulbs the way you're thinking. But is he better than our handball left-wing competitor on the other end?
We've got a photo of Mr. Henry Louis Smith here. Looks like a nice guy. It kind of looks like a nice dude. He's got a gentle mustache. He's got a short coif. A look in his eyes of, wondering why he can't water his plant. And I think that's just screaming at me through this black and white image.
I'd give him the win. I'm okay with that. If somebody had asked me to describe him, the first thing I would have gone with probably wasn't gentle mustache, but I think he could definitely be the winner.
His small, pointy, triangular collars too.
Yeah, that's probably a better description than. Anyway,
although he does have dark, dead eyes.
Let's stop talking about this man's mustache. Hey, you're the winner.
The ultimate tournament of everything.
Every once in a while, it goes off the rails. You guys don't understand this tightrope we're walking on to make sure this show stays on somewhat of a track and gets done in under an hour. But anyway, round 5?
Round 5. Round 5.
In round 5, we have C21 H24 011 against La Matanza.
Oh, God. Did we mention that things were going off the rails? Here in this round, we've got a molecular formation going off against something known colloquially as the massacre or the slaughter. You take your pick. We're going to learn about these and take ours. Let's jump into our first competitor.
C21 H24 011, as everyone knows, is actually called aspalathin or catechin 5O glucoside or catechin 7O glucoside. It is a chemical that exists, and that's about all we know. It's got a molar mass of 452.41 grams per mole and an exact mass of 452.131862 units.
All right, so that's a really big mole and or molar as far as I'm concerned. So whatever this thing is, it either is able to dig very well underground or has thick teeth.
Yeah, or it is a flavanol and gives things flavor. Recap for everybody listening at home. The show is random. We pick things randomly, and every once in a while it gets a little dark. And here we go. La Matanza, the massacre, the slaughter, or the Hour of Blood was a period of anti-Mexican violence in Texas, including lynchings and massacres between 1910 and 1920. I don't know why they're calling it the Hour of Blood, Texas. That's called a decade. Now, in the midst of tensions between the U.S. and Mexico during the Mexican Revolution, this violence was committed by Anglo-Texan vigilantes and law enforcement, such as the Texas Rangers, during operations against bandit raids known as the Bandit Wars.
Yes, this was certainly the wild, wild west. And I'm sure that Walker, Texas Ranger, would have had something to say about this, but he would come much later. The violence was committed by Anglo-Texan vigilantes, law enforcement, such as the Texas Rangers. These were in operations. We already mentioned that the violence and denial of the civil liberties during this period was justified using blatant racism. Ranger violence reached its peak from 1915 to 1919 in response to increasing conflict, initially because of the Plan de Santiago by Mexican and Tejano insurgents to take Texas. This period was referred to as the Hora de Sangre by Mexicans in South Texas, many of whom fled to Mexico to escape this violence. Basically, at least 300 Mexican Americans were killed in Texas during the 1910s, with total estimates ranging from hundreds to even thousands killed. And at least 100 Mexican Americans were lynched in the 1910s, many in Texas. Many murders were concealed, unreported, some in South Texas, suspected by Rangers of supporting rebels, being placed on blacklists, and often people were disappeared.
Yeah, so during this revolution, the Mexican Revolution, the Texas Rangers were known for their violence against Mexicans, including Americans and American residents of Mexican origin, and their anti-Mexican sentiment was fueled by the ongoing revolution and the Plan of San Diego. This violence was so bad that among the Mexican population, the Texas Rangers were given the name the Texan Devils, and many accounts of their violence were recorded, and the organization occasionally worked with vigilantes, and they were legally supported by the Texas legislature.
So yeah, let's circle back to the Texas legislature, governors and or whatnot. Didn't the Bushes own the Texans, the Houston or the Texas Rangers rather, the baseball team, or were owners of it, partial owners?
That sounds about right, although I don't think those are the Rangers they're talking about here in this article.
No, but why would you name a team knowing that this happened? The Texas Rangers, and then I keep coming. What's this? Chuck? Oh, it's Chuck Norris. You know what? He's everybody thinks of him so highly. Why would he have signed up to be one of these guys?
Do you think everybody knew? I didn't know this till 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, but if you're going to call yourself it, you should probably do a little diligence.
Yeah, but that's probably something not written in the history book, and I guarantee it's one of those things that's written to probably make them seem like the good guys. I would bet. If that comes up in a book, it's probably like some of them were bad, but most of them were freedom-fighting Texas lovers.
Well, that is interesting. And, if you'd like to tell us how you feel about that, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, or agree and or disagree there in the comments section. Gotta say, though, not loving these Rangers. And so I think my vote for this one, I know this event was terrible and it deserves to be remembered, but also, these Rangers, they're probably just as bad as the baseball team. Don't know if they're successful or not, but I'm pretty psyched on this glucose side.
The ultimate tournament of everything.
Submitted without comment.
Glucoside, you're on the side of victory in this time. So why don't we move forward our time to round 4?
6.
Make the turn around the last curve. He comes around the last side, and there you have it. There is your winner, round 6.
Man, time flies when you're having fun with terrible stories.
In round
glucosides.
In round 6, we're going to have to talk about Mete Gazoz against Jerry Azuma. I think I know that one. I do know this guy. Yes.
Most excellent. And it's not so often that you see so many Z's show up here in one round. We've got Mete Gazoz representing 2 of the Z's and Jerry Uzama, not to be outdone, holding a Z and an H at the end. Let's see which one of these combination of consonants will make a consummate V for victory.
Mete Gazoz, born June 8th, 1999 in Istanbul, is a Turkish recurve archer. He won a gold medal in the men's individual event in the 2020 Olympic Games. He was also represented Turkey in the 2016 Summer Olympics held in Rio, where it doesn't say he medaled, so I'm assuming he did not.
Now, recurve archery, is this like in that movie where they bend the bullets with the gun? Are they able to do that with an arrow?
So, no joke, I've actually seen a guy do that with an arrow, but I don't think that's what this is.
That wasn't funny at all.
No, I've literally seen it. It was impressive. He shot around something, and I was like, what? You can do that? It was amazing.
I guess you did. You did say no joke. So I'm going to have to check that out. And I think we should continue to check out this competitor. Multinational, though. That's very interesting. Began with archery in 2010. The right-handed archer made his international debut only 3 years later, making it 2013. He won the silver medal in the recurve junior men team event at the 2013 World Archery Youth Championships in Wuxi, China. He participated in the 2014 Summer Youth Olympics in Nanjing, China, and in the 2015 European Games in Baku, Azerbaijan.
Yeah, dude was good. Not good enough to medal first, but he did medal last, which is important. He won the men's individual archery medal at Tokyo, bringing his country its first ever Olympic medal in archery. Quoted as saying, "I'm feeling great. It's amazing to be here. It's amazing to have a gold medal at the Olympics. After 2016, after Rio, I promised myself I would be Olympic champion next time in Tokyo." And you know what? He was. Good on him. That's the crowd. Just for you, Mete. That's the crowd for you.
Well, let's see if that crowd is going to stick with him. Crowds can be finicky, so let's bring in the other competitor, Jerry Azuma, an American former professional football player who was a cornerback for 7 seasons with your beloved Chicago Bears of the National Football League.
I like how they need to preference that they're in the NFL, just in case anyone's listening. And like the Bears,
Yeah,
they're
people
not
tend to forget
professional.
that the Bears are in the NFL.
He played college football for the New Hampshire Wildcats and was selected by the Bears in the 5th round of the 1999 NFL Draft. He was a first-generation American son of Theophilus and Bertha Azuma, natives of Ghana. Azuma was born in Oklahoma and grew up in Worcester, Massachusetts. At an early age, he played for the Worcester Vikings Pop Warner football team, and Azuma attended St. Peter Marian High School, receiving football honors as a Central Massachusetts and Shriners All-Star.
They attended university at the University of New Hampshire, where they were a 4-year starter on offense for Chip Kelly as an All-American tailback. Let's fast forward to their senior year. They were the Walter Payton Award recipient as the top offensive player in Division I AA football, unanimous All-American, All-Atlantic, 10 conference selection, and ECAC All-Star, New England Player of the Year. We got accolades for days here. Good golly. Let's, what do you say we jump forward to his time in the NFL?
Let's do it. So, dude's fast. Dude was big. Dude was very good. Zoom was selected by the Bears as the 147th pick of the draft out of the University of New Hampshire. In his first year at the Bears, he won the prestigious Brian Piccolo Award, this award given to a Chicago Bear by his teammates. Brian Piccolo played 4 seasons as a running back for the Bears from 1965 to 1968, then died of cancer in 1970 when he was just 26. The Chicago Bears created this award to honor their teammates' courage, loyalty, teamwork, and dedication.
Uzuma, who was a running back in college, continued to make the transition into an NFL defensive back. Very different. As his NFL experience grew, he also saw time on special teams and special situations on defense. In 2001, Azuma was given a contract extension, and then in 2002, during the divisional playoff game versus the Philadelphia Eagles, Azuma intercepted then quarterback Donovan McNabb and returned the ball 39 yards for a touchdown. Gosh, that's totally crazy. I can't believe the Bears were in a playoff game.
Anyway, this is the last touchdown scored in Soldier Field, old Soldier Field. His best season came in 2003 when he led the league in kickoff returns with a 29-yard average and 2 touchdowns. In 2004, he was selected to represent the NFC in the Pro Bowl as a kick returner. And in that game, he broke the record for return yards with 228 and even recovered a fumble.
Yeah, this guy was definitely a football player. You know, one of those guys who's just, you could put him in any position on the field and you'd be more likely to win than without him. I will give you that. Obviously, it didn't work out that well for the team he was on, but I can't take away the individual contributions of this individual. But as we compare them to the individual contributions and accolades of our other competitor, the archer, who do we think would win? A man in pads or a man with a recurve bow?
Well, luckily here they compete just with their feats and their words and less with the weapons they bring into battle with them, because otherwise that's an unfair fight. I think, and this is not just my love of the Chicago Bears talking, I think I have to give it to Jerry Azuma because of his philanthropic work as well as his time on the field.
Absolutely. He's done a lot of good, but for similar personal reasons, I feel that I cannot give it to this individual. And so we find ourselves at an impasse.
Of course we do.
Time for a tiebreaker.
If you're new to the show, this is probably your first tiebreaker with us. If you're not new to the show, you haven't heard it in a while. So let's explain exactly how this works. Mike and I are going to use a very random process to figure out which of these winners is going to be the winner. The universe knows, but we yet do not. So Mike and I are going to stand out in front of my yard, take bows and arrows and launch them up into the sky, and then lay down. And whichever one of us is closest to being impaled gets to decide the winner, because we may as well go out and buy a lottery ticket with our luck.
That's right. But you know what? I forgot to put the second curve in my bow, and so I don't think it would be actually fair. So why don't we instead, in this case, just pick a number between 1 and 10,000?
Fine. We can do that. I am going to have to go with number 23.
just the number 23.
Just the number 23.
Wow. Bold strategy, Cotton. I hope it pays off for you. What I'm going to do is go with the number of the last year that this individual won gold at the Olympic Games. And I believe that would be 2020.
Okay, 2020 against 23. And the number is...
Let's go.
2,162.
Yes, and that means that, of course, as we all knew would happen, Mete Gazoz, you got 2 Z's and 1 ticket to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
Sorry, Jerry, that one's on me. That's poor picking by me. I should have picked something other than your number. I'm sorry.
You fumbled.
I fumbled.
If only he was there to recover your fumble.
If only.
Round 7. Round 7. Round 7. Round 7.
In round 7, we will soon be talking about the barony of Kursland against Christopher Schipper. Now, in just a moment, Mike is going to tell you about these wonderful people, but we won't be able to tell you about them quite yet because this is what we like to call a commercial break. Except we're not sponsored. We're brought to you by us and ourselves and our basements.
Ladies, and if you would like to learn more about us, ourselves, or our basements, you can feel free to tune in here every single so often to find a new edition of this program, the Ultimate Tournament of Everything. In the meanwhile, take this time as we take our 7th inning stretch, if you will, to rate 5 out of 10. I mean, 5 out of 5. 10 out of 10.
No,
I'd take it 5 out of 10.
If you don't like
I would
it,
take anything.
you can still put
Just
a
go
5 in
for
it for
it. Be
10 out of
honest.
10. That's perfect.
Yeah, just, speak your heart. I don't want to put you down, but, share it with your friends. Give us a comment. Tell us that we're doing great or that we're not, or you can just say hi. And speaking of high, let's get to that very high number, 7. That's about as high as I can count, and the competitors contained therein.
The barony of Kursland is the remains of an old castle. Lies about 1.5 miles to the northeast of the town of Darlary in North Ayrshire in Scotland, in the old barony of Kursland. The River Garnock lies nearby. It doesn't say how nearby, just nearby.
Gosh, they got great words over there.
Yeah, and I'm going to butcher all of them in this pronunciation. Here we go. The barony of Kursland was once extensive. However, after the days of the Kerrs, the land was parceled out and the mid-superiority purchased by John Smith, this is a word, of Swinridgemer. And then it's got... in parentheses, spelling is correct. I wouldn't know if it wasn't. After having been held by the Kerr family for upwards of 500 years, in the 15th century, the parish had 4 other baronies, Kelburn, Blair, Lynn, and Pitcairn, and the Kurslands proper sat on the bank shelving towards the River Garnock, comprising the properties of Kearshead, the Colhaw Glen, the Todd Hills, the Brown Hills, the Davids Hills, and the Auchengreney, amounting to about 700 acres of arable land. Arable, that means you can farm it.
It sure does. We learned that back in the day too, but haven't really had to use it much till now. Now, there were a few interesting places here. We've got the Manor House. It was an ancient mansion or a castle of Kursland, which stood on Easter Row, now East Kursland Farm. The remains of the L plant tower has been built into the farmhouse. Basically, they've got a main entrance door of the dwelling. It's carved of stone, very fancy. There's a date of 1604, which has been touched up a little bit, but it's still visible. There's also a location called the Barony Mills, which had a water mill underneath which was control of the which was under the control of the laird or lord of the land, and to which the tenants were thirled or obliged. Yeah, what's this word? Thirled. Oh, we have a system of feudal servitude. Look, the plot thickens.
Yeah, everyone loves servitude. While you're contemplating servitude, especially in the time when everything was a disease and bathrooms didn't exist, I'm instead going to talk about Christopher Schipper.
This is a great idea. This was an individual also known as Rick Schipper, and by his Chinese name, Shi Zhaoren, apologies, he was a Dutch sinologist.
Sinologist. Now, a sinologist, for those of you who don't know, is a subfield of area of studies or East Asian studies involved in the social sciences and humanities research on China. So there we go. He studies China. He's a professor of Oriental Studies at Leiden, Leiden University, appointed in 1993, worked as a researcher for another place that looks like it's French, and later taught as, this one's French too, Directeur de Recherche in History of Taoism Studies at another French place in Paris.
So, yeah, a worldly man, you might say. Born in Jernskog of the Ida municipality in October of 1934, he grew up in the Netherlands. His father was a Mennonite pastor. His mother was a devout believer. The couple was declared righteous among the nations by Israel's Vad Vashem Holocaust Remembrance Center for their efforts in hiding Jewish people during the German occupation of Holland in World War II.
Hey, good on them. That is the right move given that time. Good job. Now, his research, he studied mostly in Taiwan, was very interested in the ceremonies and rituals that are part of Taoism, but the knowledge about the rituals may only be passed on within a family. And since he was adopted by a befriended family, he could be trained in Taoism. And in 1968, he was initiated as a priest in the Zhangji School of Taoism, and he organized and edited the first complete scientific study of the 1,500 works contained in the Taoist canon of the Ming Dynasty. Do you think they store them in an actual canon?
I would hope so, because nothing will get you further in life than being shot out of a cannon. And further in life, this man did get for. In 2001, Christopher Schipper and his wife, Dr. Huan Bingling, founded the first library in China specialized in Western art, literature, and culture in Fuzhou. It's called the Library of the Western Belvedere, or another name in Chinese. With this library, they intend to make Western literature more accessible to Chinese scientists. The collection consisted in 2007 of about 25,000 titles on literature, art history, and philosophy in many languages such as English, French, German, Dutch, and other Western tongues.
If you're ever wondering, hey, what are they saying? Well, luckily for you, we will include the links in the show notes, and you can follow along, read along, just as we're reading to you, because every once in a while when we hit a word and we go, that word, you don't know what that word is. And you know what? We don't either, which is why we said that word.
That word.
That word. We
That
do that
word.
a lot. That
This
word.
one too.
This one too. But now we must pick a winner.
We must indeed. So we have this very intelligent Christopher Schipper, who was a worldly man interested in one place of it, versus this barony of Kursland, which I have already largely forgotten everything that we talked about, except for that the mill was under the control of the laird or lord of the land.
Well, given that you've already forgotten, I think we know who our winner is. It's not going to be the castle. It is instead going to be the man.
The ultimate tournament of everything.
Christopher Schipper, we're not going to ship you off. I think you've got some staying power. Can't wait to see you reappear to face off with another competitor in round 2. But we don't have time for that right now because we are moving on to round 8.
I say, would you by chance have any round 8?
Round 8!
Gotta love the round 8 music. Gotta love it. In round 8, we're going to talk about Vakomall against Kirpal Singh. Ooh, this one's got a surprise. I'll just say Kirpal Singh for now. You're going to have to find out.
Yeah, I like it. It's literally attached to their name in parentheses after it. But yes, let's leave a little teaser there. We have 2 things that are perhaps not as they appear.
Vakomall is a commune in, you guessed it, France. Situated 7 miles east of Amiens on the D11A road and by the banks of the River Somme.
Ah, and that is Somme River, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, it currently has about 540 people in it, takes up an area of 0.72 square miles, and it does not list the number of families, although I wish it did.
I wish it did too. And honestly, that's a very small area. Well, it says, do we have a square miles? No, it says it's situated 7 miles.
0.72 square miles an area. It's tiny.
That is a very small location.
Yeah. Little. It's a little bigger in kilometers, 1.87, because that's how kilometers work.
Yeah, no, that makes me feel a whole lot better. You could fit a bunch of families up in there, but how many families could you fit within our other competitor, Kirpal Singh?
Now, he was a soldier in the British Indian Army, best known for his role in passing on to the Punjab Criminal Investigation Department the intelligence on the date of the Ghadir conspiracy in February 1915 during World War I, because our friend was a spy. The CID recruited the services of Kirpal Singh in early 1915 following the reports and intelligence it received on the proposed plans for instigating a revolt in the British Indian Army in Punjab. Singh, who had a Ghadirite cousin serving in the 23rd Cavalry, was able to infiltrate the leadership, being assigned to work in his cousin's regiment. He was soon under suspicion of being a spy. That didn't take long, but was still able to pass on information regarding the date and scale of the uprising to British Indian intelligence.
So, just so I understand, this was an Indian individual who was giving Indian information to the British Army, correct?
To the British Indian Army.
Right. Because they kind of came over and took over the place.
Yes.
Okay.
Colonizer.
You're right. Yeah, I mean, well, hey, I guess in the end, it's why we're where we are. But for better or for worse, facts are facts, as are the facts that follow this statement. As the date of the mutiny approached, a desperate Rashbahari Bose brought forward the D-Day to the evening of 19th of February, which was discovered by Kirpal Singh on the very day. No attempts were made by the Gahadarites to restrain him, and he rushed to inform Liaquat Khan of the change of plans. Ordered back to his station to signal when the revolutionaries had assembled, Singh was detained by the would-be mutineers, but managed to make good his escape under the cover of answering the call of nature.
Okay.
Let us decode that.
Okay, so if you've read The Call of the Wild by Jack London, this is not what they mean. This is not that call of nature. This man was literally detained to hey, we've captured you, you're a spy. And he's like, wait a second, before you do anything, I gotta pee. And they're like, okay, fine, but don't run away.
And he was like, no, I gotta go. And they said, okay. And then he went. And then he
never came back. He escaped. Which, listen, I don't want to give advice to you if you have a captive, but if they say, I need to go to the bathroom, you don't just...
No, that's the wrong advice.
I should, if you've kidnapped someone, let them go. Let them go.
No. Yes, absolutely. And if you've been kidnapped, let them know you've got to go.
There you go. Use this as a cautionary tale. Okay, well, that is quite the exciting life. I don't think I can give it to the city in France. I don't even think we need to debate this any further.
No, and I especially don't want to try to pronounce it once again. And so, Kirpal Singh, parentheses, spy, you sure were. And not only did you have to go on that day, but on this day you have to go to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I didn't think that would actually work as a way to escape, but good on him.
Yeah, I mean, you got to try everything. Honestly, this is why I love this show. I love this program so much. You never know what you're going to learn. That happened, people. That is real stuff. And you know it's factual because it's here on Wikipedia, and you know it's double factual because we're talking about it here on the Ultimate Tournament of Everything, which, again, just going to remind you, like, comment, rate, subscribe, because we're going to make some more of these. We've been a little sparse on our occurrences here, but we're going to start hitting it a little better. And speaking of hitting it, there's nothing that's a bigger hit than round 9.
It's about time for round 9.
Round 9.
Before we get all the way into round 9, I would like to point out one of our fans, probably our only one. Hey, JB. Hope everything's going well out there. Hey, fan.
Yeah. Yeah, you've got 2 letters that make up your name. They're both consonants. You know, doing the best with what you can, and we appreciate out there. We appreciate you out there, buddy. We'd love to see a rate, comment, and/or subscribe. Tell your friends, as we said. Haven't seen that yet, but we would love to see you continue to observe our stuff. If you want to be the next listener that gets a singular call out, be sure to let us know your name in one of those fashions, and we'll shout you out in our next episode because we've got the time to do so. Speaking of time, it's time to learn about who we'll be talking about now.
Well, this one's not as exciting as our last one. Ashley Campbell, and then in parentheses, actor, not spy, actor, that's fine, against Lukaziak, which is a surname.
It sure is now. I haven't read a word of either of these articles, but our dedicated listeners will know that surnames, they have about a 50-50 chance in their occurrences. So let's just leave it at that. Let's see how they represent, and let's jump into our first individual, Ashley Campbell, the British actor, dancer, and singer.
Singer of English and Grenadian heritage, known for her portrayal of Ollie in the CBBC children's drama The Misty Show. In 2000, at 19 years old, he successfully auditioned for the touring and West End production of Fame, the musical, at the Victoria Palace Theatre in London. He remained with Fame for 16 months and starred as Dromio of Syracuse in the Bombardee of Errors at the New Ambassadors Theatre in London. Campbell then recreated the role of Little Mo in the 20th anniversary production of Five Guys Named Mo. Never heard of that one, but hey, I guess one of them has to be named Mo. Well, all 5 of them, probably.
Hey, Mo!
He then toured the United States of America, playing Sammy Davis Jr. in the Rat Pack live from the Sands, and in 2013 appeared in the European premiere of The Color Purple at the Menier Chocolate Factory, directed by John Doyle. Other notable theatrical appearances include Tick Tick Boom and the High Heel Parrotfish and Gutted at the Theatre Royal Stratford East.
So going forward to perhaps their greatest accolade here, Campbell starred as Ollie in the BBC children's drama series. There are so many hyperlinks in this because everything is so busy that it keeps interrupting my vision here to even read it here. But that only speaks more highly of this individual. The Misty Show alongside Laura Aikman and Oliver Mason. In 2009, they appeared as Wayne Connor and Hollyoaks. I mean, we're just talking about appearance after appearance after appearance. All I can really tell you is that this guy gets booked.
Now, are you going to say that his best thing was the children's thing and not his time on the soap opera Doctors? Are you kidding?
Yeah, absolutely. Children don't like soap operas at all.
Have you seen Doctors? Because I haven't.
Yeah, I did because I was pretty sick for a while there. I just see like a bunch of them.
Well, I'm sorry about that. I'm glad
they weren't funny. They were not funny at all.
Well, I'm glad you're feeling better. Now, Lukaziak is the surname, and notable people with this surname include Agnieszka Lukaziak, a Polish-born film director; Chloe Lukaziak, the American actress, dancer, author, television personality, and model; and Oscar Lukaziak, the Swedish darts player. That's it.
Pretty cool.
That's all of them.
Yeah. I mean, at least one of these, I think, hit a bullseye in my eye, and that would probably be the Polish-born film director. But all of them seem very prolific and important, and they share the last name. I wonder, what's the odds that they're not related?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. All born kind of around the same time, but one's Polish, one's American, and one's Swedish, so probably not related. But are the 3 of them together better than the one Ashley Campbell? And I think probably, because one of them is basically like an American Ashley Campbell, but named Chloe.
Oh, yeah, we do have some parity there. Now the question is here, can Ashley Campbell hit the triple 20s on a dartboard?
I'm going to go with no because it's not listed. I feel like that's got to be... It's got to be in
there.
You
would list that, right? If
you
had your own Wikipedia article and you could hit triple 20s, you'd say so, right?
I guess that's a good point. Like, what is, if you had to pick, like, okay, we're going to put you on Wikipedia, but you know how Wikipedia works. We can only give you one sentence because you're that important. What's the one thing you would have listed on your Wikipedia page? And if that's the best thing you can do, that, right?
What I would have listed is the phrase like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Tell your friends and come back again, which probably would not be very informative, but hopefully would be, inspirational to all of you wonderful individuals with your auditory sensations focused upon us right now. But my focus is focused upon these two competitors, and I'm kind of feeling like this is kind of a toss-up for me.
Well, toss up to a dartboard and pick Lucasiak.
Lucasiak it is. Lucasiak, I'm a maniac for your style. You're moving on to the next round of
The ultimate tournament of everything.
Well, there you go. That's been 9 rounds, about an hour of your time, but hopefully you've had fun and definitely have learned something. I know I have.
We've learned that we don't know a whole lot, but we're glad to be back with you, and we hope to be back with you again soon to find out what is indeed the greatest thing of all of the things here on the ultimate tournament of everything.
The ultimate tournament of everything.